This is Face the Nation, broadcasting live from the CNN-IBN headquarters in New Delhi with Sagarika Ghosh.
A very warm welcome to you this Monday night. China is making regular and increasing intrusions into Indian territory, but India seems somewhat powerless to stop China. Earlier this year, a Chinese helicopter violated Indian airspace in Ladakh. Now the word China has been painted in red on rocks 1.5 kilometers inside Indian territory, also in Ladakh. The government says these intrusions only happen because the India-China border is not clearly demarcated. But China does not accept what India believes is the existing border even. That brings us to my idea question of the day. Is China India's greatest threat in the region? Is it not Pakistan? Is it in fact China? Type QDD space Y for yes, QDD space N for no, SMS to 51818 or vote online on www.ibnlive.com. Joining us tonight, Nilotpal Basu, leader of the CPM, is with us. Right here in our studio, Rear Admiral retired Raja Menon, defense analyst, and G Parthasarathy, former diplomat. We'll hear from our guests in just a bit. First, the top story on Face the Nation. China says it has not violated any part of Indian territory. But Chinese pinpricks on the line of actual control are frequent and increasing. The army says it's doing its best, but the MEA says border violations are simply not an issue. So what explains India's unwillingness or inability to have some hard talk with the Chinese? Here's our foreign editor, Surya Gangadharan.
China's biggest ever military exercise involving 4 military commands and 50,000 troops. These troops could also spearhead any future Chinese attack on Ladakh directly across, and the signals are ominous. Ladakh has seen a steep rise in Chinese troop intrusions, right from Trig Heights, Chumar, Pangong So Lake, Spanger Gap to Demcho.
The Chinese nomads push inside through the military and they occupy territories inside India.
In Himachal Pradesh, Chinese troops have been noticed in the Barahuti grazing grounds. Also in Sikkim's Finger area, forcing the army to deploy armoured vehicles for defence. And in Arunachal Pradesh, where Tawang, Upper Subansiri and Walong has seen frequent visits by Chinese patrols. The mystery is that while these intrusions are well documented and sometimes happen practically every day in a month, India betrays a strange lack of action.
Both sides of the LAC, there are vacant areas which have not been occupied physically because of the tactical reasons, because there are tactical features in those areas. So it is quite possible for the either side to venture into those areas and leave some telltale signs.
Poor local infrastructure is a continuing handicap for the Indian Army. Surveillance devices can only detect the movement of large bodies of troops, not small patrols. Convincing, but not convincing enough. It could be the army is under strict instructions for the MEA to go easy on the Chinese.
Why should we not be able to persuade Chinese to have a certain, a concerted dialogue?
In fact, the MEA appears singularly unperturbed, condoning China's actions by saying they stem from differing perceptions of the line of actual control.
I would like to reassure everyone concerned that our boundaries are intact and we will certainly take care of such incursions.
Any cross-border firing by Pakistan merits a strong reaction from India. But when it comes to China, it seems the asymmetry in size and power paralyzes South Bloc, rendering it unable or unwilling to develop a strong yet measured response to Beijing's provocations. In New Delhi, this is Surya Gangadharan.
So the report there saying the asymmetry in power between India and China is what is making India so helpless. Is China India's greatest threat in the region? What are you telling us at the start of the show? In fact, 90% there are saying it's no Hindi Chini bhai bhai, it's Hindi Chini bye bye. Let's get into crossfire. G Parthasarathy, on one level the MEA is saying that these incursions are not an issue. Now, are they saying that because they are genuinely not an issue? They're navigational blunders by helicopters, they're simply mistakes because there's no border? Or are they saying it because their hands are tied, they're powerless, they're helpless in the face of China's power?
There are two aspects to this. I think, first of all, with regard to the Ministry of External Affairs, they're making the same mistake that Nehru made in the 50s. Pretending a problem does not exist when it does. The reality is that in 2002, we were willing to provide maps and exchange maps with China on the line of actual control. We did so on the central sector, which is the UP sector. China backed off because they did not want to define the line of control in 2002. And so we went into a new pattern of border talks. And what has happened is after 2005, they have become very aggressive on their claims in Arunachal Pradesh.